So this mast that you're looking at is called a mast. Okay, it's 86 feet tall, and it's made out of sleeved steel pipe. And if you look at it closely, you'll notice that every 6-8 feet or so, the pipe is smaller. That's because the pipe is inserted into the pipe above is inserted into the pipe below, making it extremely strong, an enormously strong mast. This mast was installed when the building was built. It's connected directly to the steel frame of the building. You'll see if when we go down, bolted into these massive steel I-beams down below us. 86 feet tall, and the reason I know that it's 86 feet tall is because I had to climb it one time. And I'm not a steeplejack, okay, but I'm a pretty good climber, but I'm not a trained steeplejack. There's certain little tricks those guys learn. And there's a guy in San Francisco Bay Area named Jim Phelan, who is a steeplejack. He's the guy to go to. He actually does whenever we need work on the flag pulley or on the light above. Jim Phelan's the guy that we go to. He also did some of the lighting on the tower of the ferry building tower, the 1915 letters. He installed those bulbs over there, and I work on the neon over there. So he's a friend of mine. I see him around. But back in I guess it was, I don't know, 99 or something like that, John Protopappas was getting cozy with the Oakland Raiders, and he wanted to put an Oakland Raider flag up here for some big game that was coming up. I don't know which game it was. I mean, I could give a crap about football, but whatever. But it's a cool thing. John was a cool guy, and he needed to get a flag put up, so they sent the janitor up here to replace the American flag with the Raiders flag, right? And so there's a lanyard, which is the big little cable that goes all the way up to a pulley, 86 feet up there. There's a pulley, and this little metal lanyard, metal thing right here. You can see it. Okay, that is the lanyard that goes all the way up to the pulley, and that's what you pull the flag up and down on. So the janitor, not knowing any better, pulled it the wrong way. There was a padlock on the lanyard at that time because there's more access to this, and people used to sneak up here and fiddle with the flag. I don't know, but this is before we kind of secured the building a little bit more. And so he left the lock on when he pulled the pulley, pulled the lanyard up the pulley, and the lock went all the way 86 feet up and got wedged into the pulley. And he kept pulling on it really hard, and it got really wedged. And there's absolutely no way you can get it out except by climbing up there and unfucking it, right? So John, he couldn't get a hold of Jim Phelan for some reason. He's out of town. He does work in New York. I mean, he's all over the place. The guy's like a cosmopolitan, steeplejack. Pretty cool guy. He's older than I am. The guy's spry as hell. Anyway, so John called me because I had given him a price for painting the pole one time a few years before, which we never did. And he called me in a kind of a panic, and he goes, "Hey, I gotta get this Raiders flag up. Can you help me out?" And I'm like, and it was like it needed to be done immediately, basically the next day. And I'm like, gee, I don't know, guy, yeah, sure, John, I'll see what I can do. And I didn't have a helper at the time that I could use, who was working with me regularly. And there's a guy that used to work for me, who's kind of a local character nowadays. His name is Chicken John Rinaldi, and he used to work for me as my helper. And he's reasonably smart for an annoying guy, and a pretty good helper in the sign trades. And so I called him, and he came over and was able to help me do the job. So I came over and I climbed this pole. Not using the steeplejack rig, which I didn't really have, and didn't really have one. I used Prusik knots on climbing webbing. Used 3 of them, wrap around the pole twice, through in and through itself, and it's a friction knot, and then connected to. I took a bosun's chair, not a climbing harness, because a bosun's chair is much easier on your ass, and used 2 atriated, and I walked up this pipe, doing it really hard, kind of slow, very tiring way to do it. Unlike what Jim would have done, he used to whip right up with his kind of dialed-in climbing apparatus. Their ropes and slings, or like I said, different ropes and slings. They do it all the time, right? So anyway, it took me quite a while to get up there. And Chicken, my old friend Chicken, one of the reasons I hired him was so I would ensure that I'd actually climb the thing, because he was insulting me the whole way as an old man, which this is like, 15 years ago. And so I knew that if he was here insulting me, I would have to do it and not chicken out and not climb it. So anyway, I climbed up there and unscrewed pulled the lock out of the pulley, got the Raiders flag up there. While I was climbing up there, it was a beautiful day, like today, only warmer and no wind. And I remember at one point, it was the day of the game. There's a highway patrol helicopter was circling around when I was up there, and I know it's 86 feet because I measured it. I brought a measuring tape because I wanted to know how high it was. And also, when you get up there, The last pipe is about maybe 5-inch OD, like it's about that big around, but it's real solid, very solid. It's sleeved in the pipe below it. I could get that thing going about 4 feet, 5 feet side to side, and 86 feet, which was super fun. And I did it kind of showing off to the highway patrol helicopter while I was up there waving at them. And so that was kind of fun. I will never do it again, but I'm glad I did it that one time. So hats off to Jim Thielen and steeplejacks, because that's a pretty tough job.